I'm Terry Howerton with TechNexus. I'm here with our partner, Brian Hoff from Exelon.
Yep.
Brian, you know, when people think about innovation, one name often comes to mind, and that's a guy named Thomas Edison, and there's a little connection between him and your company, right?
Yeah. Again, if you go back in the history with Exelon, there's roots definitely back to Thomas Edison. You know, he's the, quote, I'll call it granddaddy of the electrical distribution system that we know today. And you can see where Thomas Edison and a lot of those individuals actually set up the company that we're operating today.
And a long history beyond the light bulb, really, for your company. I mean, in innovation around the way power is generated, the way it's been transported.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I think of a lot of is Exelon is really good at trying to look at inventors out there and how do we take an invention and turn it into an innovation at scale. We've done that with electrical distribution systems, we've done that with power generation systems, and that actually ultimately serves the customers today that Exelon has.
So how does that translate to an interest in startups, early stage companies?
Again, if I think back to that statement about invention, a lot of the startups today are really coming up with what are those next inventions. And we look at those startups and say, okay, wow, this is really cool. They've got this new technology, this new process. How can we apply that ultimately in our company to make us more productive, us more efficient, us have cost savings? And how do we turn that into a product or service that our customers could benefit in?
You know, we're really thrilled to have you as one of the partners for this Emerge program, which is an accelerator we're doing with the Department of Homeland Security, thinking about wearable technology for first responders.
Yeah.
What's your interest in the first responder market? Why the utility company and police and fire?
Again, when I think about first responders, right, it is people coming to an accident or scene in the time of crisis. You cannot think of many times where there's not a power outage or a major issue that it's not a lineman out there with the police and the fire department. So those are all the people getting that storm responded to, that accident back up. So why not collaborate against all the different groups and find out what's the best technologies and startups and things that we can do to ultimately get that person's life back to normal sooner?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And so today we've had a chance to sit down and review about a dozen different startups, companies that are participating in the program. We've seen all sorts of different wearable technology that's related to first responders. Was there any technologies in general, maybe not specific companies, but any buckets that really struck you as really compelling or more interesting than others?
I'll just go back to this. First responders, I think, have a unique situation. They've got big, thick gloves on, as we've heard.
Yeah.
You know, firemen are out there, policemen, line workers. And how do they work with the traditional iPhone or Android type device? It doesn't work, right? So we saw a lot of technologies today that allow the person to work in their native environment, their native tools with technology to be seamless so that technology doesn't get in their way from, again, their job of responding to that customer.
Yeah, we also saw a lot of situational awareness type stuff. So right in the heart of the crisis, whether it's a fire or it's a big flood or something where CompMed and your utility companies are on the ground dealing with that kind of stuff. Those situational awareness tools are really interesting too.
Yeah.
So it's what's exciting about having a corporate partner at the table like you for us is that we can bring an early stage company, a young venture to the table, and you can help validate that commercial viability right away. I mean, there's nothing faster than bringing a potential customer in the room and saying, is this something you'd buy?
Right.
What are some of the other ways that long-term Exelon might engage with early stage companies? You might become a customer.
Yeah, I think for us, if you look at any of these early stage, they all need use cases. So Exelon can provide use cases that are real world examples and then a test bed.
Yeah.
So we can bring in these technologies that actually make a lot of sense and we can test them. And then that's that feedback that they need to actually make that product even better. So then once we've actually have helped them with use cases, helped them with the test bed, we can also help with some management direction. For a few, we might even look at can we make an investment in the company or technology. But I think, again, most of them are really looking for that test bed and those use cases, and that was pretty evident today.
Yeah. Great. Thanks a lot, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Terry.
Appreciate it.